Welcome, everyone, to Beyond the Booth, a big show tonight. So I won't delay us. Let's go straight to the man, the myth. Hey, back in the booth for the first time, calling basketball this week, Phil Harris.
Hey, it was a thrill to get back in the saddle. Of course, we did the county tournament last year, did the DeKalb County tournament this year, and most people ask me about doing football and basketball, but I'd much rather do basketball. It's just a lot more enjoyable. I just like it a whole lot more, and most broadcasters would rather do football, but I just enjoy doing basketball. So I was kind of in my element last weekend.
Phil, I enjoy both. I feel like my knowledge sometimes when I'm doing basketball isn't where my knowledge is with football. But basketball moves so fast. It's kind of good that you never have any downtime.
Oh, no, you don't. Of course, the biggest thing is, of course, the thing is I try to do is once you learn names is you try to tell a story. And right. I don't know the X's and O's of basketball. Howie helps me. He knows the X's and O's of basketball. I don't. I just kind of know the flow. So I just kind of describe what's in front of me. And I've always said maybe that's helpful because people that are listening a lot of times don't know the X's and O's of basketball either. They just want you to tell them a story, what the score is, what the time is, and those type of things. And just add a little bit here and there kind of to let them know how the game's
going. And Phil, we always emphasize at Sequatchie County, and you've taught me to emphasize as a play-by-play guy in football, really, the two most important thing you can tell everybody, the score and down and distance. So if you're updating on them on those simple things, you're kind of telling them a story, at least that they can understand.
Yeah, definitely, and you can't overdo that. I mean, it needs to be done time and time again. And also time is very important because, you want to capture the audience and you want them to listen in. And, you use stories, to kind of capture your audience. But most people, if they're thumbing through, just wants to know the score, wants to know down and distance. They just briefly might just be passing through. So you want to keep them entertained. And as you learn more and you get better, and this goes back to, and I've told Justin Thrasher, they're going to come on a little bit. What has made them better is they add stories. They do some research, and that keeps your audience interested, and you get more loyal listeners.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, telling stories, stats, and information, Justin and Heath, I've had to be on my feet this week getting ready for this interview because they threw so much at me. Those guys are really on top of their game, as you say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, they do a lot of research. They put a lot into the broadcast, and it shows. And especially, if you've got a good product, and like Scottsboro has been very competitive the last 2 years. So you want to keep that audience entertained because if your team's doing well, you have a lot of interest. And people follow. Even occasional fans like me, I still, Scottsboro still holds a special place in my heart because I did play-by-play there for a while. So definitely I'm one of the people that's interested in how they do.
Phil, of course, those guys, and we'll talk about it more in depth, but we have to cover it right now, just opening the show while they're on here. Coach Tyler Vann from Sylvania takes the job at Scottsboro this week, and we'll get much more into it. But I think this is something we both weren't shocked by.
No, and we had talked about it that they would be crazy not to at least, look into it. And from what I understand from a couple people over at Scottsboro, that his name kept coming up. Yeah. And he was impressed. He did a great job at Woodville, then comes over to Sylvania. And I can tell you one thing, I don't know what the expectations are, but I guarantee you're going to have a tireless worker. The kids are going to work hard, but they're going to love playing for him.
And competitive.
Very competitive, very competitive. I mean, if you play tiddlywinks in practice, he's going to want you to compete.
Yes, absolutely. It's, being around Coach Vann, I would say that was his number one quality for me is no matter what. We had a pick'em contest. He wanted to win. We'll get to that in a minute, Phil. We'll get here about 6:50. We'll have the Scottsboro guys on. We'll discuss that. A couple of things to plug up front is we're trying to plug our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to us, go join the YouTube channel. It's the most neglected YouTube channel in the history of podcasts. I'm running it, scrolling underneath the bottom of the screen. RiverCity-Media on YouTube. Go join it. We're going to try to do some stuff that's only YouTube later on in the year. The other thing, Phil, is donate www. Donate Live Alabama /transport games or transplant games. Can't forget about that. Great podcast last week with Stan.
Yeah, definitely so. And I'm looking forward to competing and also volunteering in the transplant games. And that's something I really look forward to and felt like it's something that I need to do. So I'm looking forward to definitely that. And it was great to have Stan on last week.
Yep. Sounds like Molly wanting to get her 2 cents in on that too.
Oh, yeah, she's wild right now.
All right. But let's get started tonight. Let's start with a little bit of what you're doing right now. A little basketball. DeKalb County tournament underway, correct?
Yes, it was last weekend. We did the semifinals on Friday, which was 4 games. Howie changed. And then we had 2 championship games on Saturday. And the championship game, boys, was great. I mean, Plainview come from behind in the fourth quarter to beat Geraldine 56-53. That's the 3rd time they've played. Plainview's won 2 of 3, and they're in the same area, so they're going to meet again. But that was a great final. Geraldine led most of the second half, but Plainview made some plays down the stretch to come back and win. And, of course, Plainview's girls very dominant. I think they're now 21-6 on the year. The boys are like 21-4. But they beat Ider for the county championship on Saturday night. And but it was a great tournament. It was good to get back in the saddle. And then kind of sort of to let you know what's going on this week, Jackson County suspended their tournament. And I didn't know if they was going to make it up, but I reckon they are. They're going to play games on Wednesday, and then on Saturday is how they're going to work their tournament, because there's still area games layup where teams still have important games, but the Jackson County tournament is going to try to get their tournament in. And, of course, one other team I kind of want to talk about, of course, Scottsboro's boys are doing very well. But Fort Payne's boys down here in DeKalb County, they're now 22-2 on the year. They beat Gadsden City to defend a loss they had earlier in the year. So Fort Payne's off to a great start in basketball.
Phil, we got some people asking. Justin and Heath will be along at 6:50 with the Scottsboro news. And we're getting a little echo, so I've moved our settings around, see if we can get that clean. So if you're here to look for Justin Thrash and Heath Lock, they'll be here around 6:50, top of the hour, with the Scottsboro story. Phil, do you feel like Geraldine's able to compete with Plainview in that region this year? I mean, they're, of course, winning this week, winning the DeKalb tournament. That region seems like it might be a Plainview-Geraldine battle.
Yeah, it's actually area play we have in basketball. But, yeah, they are in the same area. Plainview won at home, I believe it was, and then Geraldine won in overtime at Geraldine. And then, of course, they played for the county championship. And what it is Plainview maybe a little bit slightly deeper, a little more athletic, but Geraldine is so physical. And they had things going their way till late in the ball game. And Plainview made some big plays defensively and, got it done down the stretch. But when these two meet again, they may meet in the area finals, and you may see them in the region championship and Northeast Region Championship down at Jacksonville. So you may see these two play 2 more times because 2 outstanding basketball teams. Of course, Plainview is 2-time defending state champion. They won it in 22 and won it in 23.
Yes, and first-year coaches, I understand, too. Didn't their coach move on to Fort Payne? Yeah,
Coach Black is back. He coached them before, but he's back. So Coach Black's coaching the boys at Plainview now, and Coach Griggs is the girls' coach. But, they're off to a great start.
Where does that Jackson County tournament set?
It's going to be Wednesday. I think they're going to play several games. The quarterfinals are going to be played on Wednesday, and then I think they're going to do the rest of the games, semifinals and finals, are going to be played on Saturday. So they're going to try to get it worked in because I know teams still have some games scheduled, so they're going to have to do a Wednesday, Saturday to get that tournament in, and it's at Woodville. But I reckon Southern Torch is going to cover it, so Howard and I is going to probably be over Woodville this week to do the Jackson County tournament.
That's great. Feel a lot of noise up here, Chattanooga area, that Southeast Tennessee area that butts up against Alabama. They're wrapping up their season too, and I just want to give everybody a quick reset on the teams that kind of border down there too. First of all, in 1A, you have South Pittsburgh, who's had a good season to this point, but unfortunately in their area sets probably the 1A area sets one of the most dominating team in Sell Creek. South Pittsburgh, of course, won that state championship in football, and then a lot of those kids went immediately over to over to basketball.
Oh, yeah. So you know they're going to be pretty good, at least athletically. That's for sure. So, yeah, I would imagine they're going to be tough to handle. But, Sell Creek, they have always had, they've just now started football. They've always had basketball and have been competitive.
Very good. Very good,
yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Also, big news out of South Pittsburgh this week. I know a lot of people have wondered. Cam Wellington, their all-state quarterback, signs a football scholarship with Maryville College. Now, Cam's also subject to be a top 5 round baseball pick, Phil. So I think there's a little bit to play out there. Does he end up at Maryville playing football, or does he end up in the minor leagues playing baseball? So
that'll be interesting to see, because if he's playing baseball, it could be in the minor league. I'm sure he's going to have better offers for baseball.
Yes.
Maybe more toward the D1 type. And I think, all in all, that may be the better thing for him. Because I think when he gets to college, and I've seen this happens a lot of times, if you can do it in baseball, it's a whole lot less stressful. I think you can balance school and baseball a lot better than you can balance school and football.
Well, and unfortunately, Phil, with Cam playing quarterback, he got overlooked. Probably his more natural position would be defensive back, but that's just not going to happen at this point. After 4 years of high school quarterback, it's hard to project him into a D-back at the next level.
Yeah, well, it could be one of those where you go to Maryville for a while and play and then transfer, because everybody does that to a bigger school. Once you make a mark, people's going to be happy. And he may get to transfer to a UTC, which would be awesome. Something like that would be wonderful for a young man like that.
And I really think we may someday see him play here in Chattanooga in the minor league. He's that kind of baseball talent. Moving on over to 2A a little bit, Phil. 2A is kind of a hodgepodge. Probably the best team in the area is Tyler. He's traditionally good. But that area features a top 5 ranked Kingston team that's really not in this area, but all the teams have got to deal with Kingston in this area.
Yeah, that's true. When you talk about Tyler, normally, back in several years ago, you used to talk about Chattanooga basketball. It was Howard and Brainerd. And Tyler kind of sort of played second fiddle. They've always been the football school.
Yes.
So it's kind of strange that they're the basketball school now, and Brainerd and Howard, who used to be top dog in the Chattanooga area, it's crazy how times have changed.
Yeah. And you can't look past the Sequatchie team that struggled horribly last year, that's now in 4th place in that region and playing some good basketball. Going to go ahead and jump up to 3A basketball, and the king of the 3A right now, and they've been called the Road Warriors, every name in the book. I've actually seen this team. They are very good, is the Red Bank Lions. And right now they kind of control that 3A region. No one above 5A in their area, Phil, or 500 in their area besides Red Bank.
Yeah, and that's one of those too, where Red Bank's always traditionally been known for football and baseball mostly.
Yes.
Basketball's kind of been an afterthought, but a very athletic team, and they have been impressive. They had some big wins early. I hadn't kept up with them lately, but I saw they had some impressive wins to start the season. So this is a quality basketball team that make a run at it. They're kind of they're kind of taking over what Howard and Brainerd used to do.
Absolutely. And One of the thing about it, if you get Chattanooga cable, I know part of our audience down to Trenton and over to South Pittsburgh and down in North Georgia gets Chattanooga cable every Friday night. Just like they're showing high school football games on there, they're showing basketball on their field. You can sit at home and see your favorite team in the area, Red Bank or even a Baylor or a Macaulay, and it's a very very nice to be able to sit at home and see a high school basketball game.
And it's strange. Back in our days when we was in school, basketball wasn't that important. Now it's unreal how the interest in basketball down here, boys and girls both, very good, especially the girls down in northeast Alabama. But I was at the Civic Center, and that place was near full all day long for the B team or for the JV girls, JV boys, girls game, and boys game. Of course, anytime Geraldine and Plainview, it don't matter what they play, you're going to have a good crowd there. But there's a lot of interest for basketball now that used to not be. I mean, gyms are packed now for the big games.
Yes, sir. And I before we get completely off of that, Fort Payne has been on quite a run, basketball wise too. Correct?
Yeah, 22-2 now after the win. But now everybody's kind of got established. You've got quality programs like Geraldine, Plainview's on the way up. Pisgah's been good. So Valley Head's been competitive. Scottsboro's been good. Fort Payne's been competitive. So I don't think programs are doing so bad that they want to run their coach off, because a lot of them are new coaches. But everything's on the up, and I think coaches are going to stay around for a little while. And that's great, because building relationships is how you build your program.
Phil, we're just suffering through the same microphone issues as last week. I'm going to try some different settings here. Everybody stay patient with us. I am very sorry. We just got word that there's not a great volume on this. We're going to try to improve that at the break. And Phil, I'm going to do some setting changes right now as we get around. One more question about Sylvania. Historically, that's a program that has been kind of a gateway for coaches. Coach Benefield was there before he went to Fife.
Yes, he had some great years. Had 4 or 5. I think he was there about 5 years before he went to Fife. He had some great teams. Of course, Coach Vann, you talk about him, he's had some good teams, and there's been other coaches there that have done very well and moved on to other places. So yeah, it's a team and a program where they always end up with a quality coach, and they leave for different reasons. But I can't ever remember where a coach just gets run off. A lot of times they leave on their own for a better position. So you can tell, Sylvania's a winner, and they have proven that in the past. So, and I think it's going to continue to be that way.
Guys, if you're out there and you can hear us better now, will you let me know? This is kind of, I'm just experimenting here a little bit. It seems like the last 2 weeks we've done nothing but fight volume issues. So maybe I need to change my setup next week. So.
Yeah, there may be something there. Of course, with technology is great if it works good. Just like at the Civic Center last week, we had trouble with Wi-Fi. And if your Wi-Fi works, you're great. If it don't, you're in trouble.
Absolutely. Phil, last question, and then while I'm working on this volume a little bit, what is you were at Scottsboro several years. What is your image of the Scottsboro program, and where do you rank it amongst that 5A group?
It's always, they have always traditionally been very strong. Back, I went through some years where I can remember when Keith Tremue was the quarterback, had 3 just outstanding seasons. Traditionally, it's been a great program, and the community well backed. The community is loyal to that program. It's a quality job. The facilities are great. They've got a brand new school, still playing Trammell Stadium, but that stadium has such a history that everybody enjoys playing there. But it's an up. It's an up and it's a program that just continues to thrive. But it's always great to be over there because the people in the community support that program.
Absolutely. Well, all right, Phil, I'm gonna put us on commercial a few minutes and hopefully bring the guys in and work on our sound a little bit. But everybody stay with us. We'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm going to try to get the Scottsboro guys on and plus improve our sound. So I'm going to run a couple of ads, and we'll be there and be right back with you.
A strong football team doesn't just happen by accident. It takes hard work and know-how, like knowing how to throw a football. The great taste and freshness of Golden Flake snack treats doesn't just happen either, like Golden Flake corn chips. It takes Golden Flake's special blend of corn to give the Golden Flake corn chips their great tasting flavor, and Golden Flake's fast delivery to make sure that corn chips are crunching fresh every time. Or take the Golden Flake cheese curls. They are just cheesy enough with a perfect crunch on every bite. Just as there's more than one way to throw a football, there's more than one way to satisfy a hungry appetite. That's why Golden Flake has a team of snack treats to make sure they have the snack treat that will satisfy you. Buy Golden Flake. And remember, the Tide develops the know-how when it comes to football, but Golden Flake has the know-how when it comes to snack treats.
Well, Phil, we're having some trouble getting on with our guest here and hearing. If you're not able to hear out there, I'm very sorry. Evidently, Verizon, from what I pick up, is having a issue real fast, or having an issue with their signal in the area. So maybe we'll get our guest on here. Heath, Justin, if you're listening, just call me back and we can get you straight on the air. Phil, what about Coach Vann and being 28 years old and getting this job?
Hey,
Hey, Verizon will not hold a signal right now. I just called Verizon. I'm going to have to call you back.
All right, bye.
Bye. Everyone, we're going to end the show. Verizon's unable to host the call right now. And unfortunately, when we connect our lines, everybody just goes out. So I don't want to continue with the show that way. So much of the show has been muted. It cannot hold the lines. So I'd rather end the show and bring Heath and Justin back when we can hold them and can hear. So we're just going to end the show tonight, and we'll pick up from here next Monday night, or if we can't reschedule them this week. Thank you and good night.